What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith as we wrap up our AFC and NFC season prediction. Really, every team in the NFL, we're giving our season prediction. So go back in the library, watch all the other stuff we did. But today, we're going to finish off with one of my favorite divisions in the whole NFL, and that's the AFC North, baby. There could even potentially be a NFL champion, Super Bowl champion coming out of this division, man. I'm really excited. So today we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and even the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you're a fan of any of those teams, stay tuned. Also, we're going to go round robin style. So my co-host Mike Williams, shout out to you, Mike, for being here today. We're going to take and go team by team, give our predictions, but stay to the end of the episode to find out why we chose what we chose. Starting off today with the Cleveland Browns. Mike, I'm going to let you take this one away, man. What is your prediction for the Browns this year, man?
I got the Browns going 7-10 this year.
Oh, okay. I like it. I got the Browns winning I have them winning 9 games this year. So taking and going 9-8. It's going to be scrappy. I think I make a big jump from last year. I think we're going to take and see the Deshaun Watson that we've been waiting to see for quite some time, man. And we're going to talk about that here in a moment. Next team, Baltimore Ravens. They got OBJ in the house, man. Lamar Jackson is not on another NFL team. He's staying put as well, too. And they are back with vengeance, man. What are your thoughts on this Baltimore Ravens, man? What do you have? What record you have them going at?
Man, I got the Ravens going 12-5. They got healthy again. Got Lamar signed. I think, and they addressed that receiver position, obviously. So I think they're gonna have a good season.
I love it, man. I have them potentially getting the last slot in the AFC, man, at 10 wins, going 10-7. I think it's going to come down to nitty gritty. That doesn't mean they're a bad team. They're a fantastic team, and we're going to talk about it in just a moment. And also, before we move to the next team, smash that subscribe button, folks. Smash that subscribe button. That helps grow the channel, man. We appreciate y'all. Next team, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. I'll kick this one off. I have the Steelers taking and coming in, and that defense, dude, is ridiculous, man. There's going to be at least 2 10-win teams in the AFC that I believe that miss the playoffs potentially, man. Like, this is going to be that type of year. That being said, I have Pittsburgh coming in at 10 wins, man. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have an awesome year. The running backs are going to be clicking, man. The receiver core is getting better, and that defense is one of the best in the NFL. I'm so excited, and this draft is going to back that up, and I'm going to say why in a moment. 10 wins, Pittsburgh. Mike, what you got for Pitt?
We're in the ballpark, and you always got something when you got Mike Tomlin, who is my favorite coach in the NFL, and yes, TJ Watt, right? So I got them going 9-8. I think they'll be in that ballpark you talked about. They're going to be a team that a lot of people do not want to play. They have that attitude of the Pittsburgh, and they're never a fun team to play. If you're on the other side of the ball, you're going to get beat up. But I think they're going to move in a good direction. I think I have them going 9-8.
Oh, okay. I love it. Then moving on to our final team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm so excited. I'm messing up on the words, man. Cincinnati Bengals, man. I'm really excited for this team. This team potentially could have won a Super Bowl the last 2 years. I mean, they have arrived, and the rich got richer, baby. That's why I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning 12 games, potentially getting a bye week the first week of the playoffs, man. They're that good, and I have them winning the division. I'm gonna say why in a moment, though. Mike, what do you have the Bengals going at?
I got the Bengals going 13-4.
Woo! Even better than me. Okay. Yeah. I love it. All right, man. Let's go ahead. Let's start off. Let's kick this thing off, man, with the Browns, man. Cleveland Browns, man. Man, this team has been through some stuff, bro. They didn't have a pick the first 2 rounds, right? The first pick was Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. Siaki Ika, D-tackle Baylor. I actually like that pick. My favorite pick for them, and I think that's so necessary, is DeJuan Jones. This guy is twinkle feet, and he is a massive behemoth of a man and a behemoth of a football player who's accomplished a lot for Ohio State. This guy was an anchor. Then they have a center also from Ohio State, Luke Weipler, slid all the way down to round 6. So that O-line got better. Their running back is still going to be crushing it, man. They got good receivers there. That's a big reason why. And then you also look at their difficulty. The Cleveland Browns are number 26 as far as difficulty of schedule, man. So I have them missing the playoffs, but I have them at 9 wins. It's going to be respectful. What do you have them going as, Mike?
Yeah, I got them going 7-10, and the biggest reason is coaching. I don't trust their coach quite yet, and they've had a lot of change in that regard. So Cedric Tillman, I think, is a good piece. I think he's going to be one of those receivers that takes like a couple years before he really develops and steps to his own. He'll have a couple games where he'll probably have like 2 catches for 10, 30 yards. And they'll have a couple games where he has like 4 catches for like 120 yards, right? But I think he'll take him a few years to find that consistency. And DeJuan Jones, when you talked about it, you just mentioned it. That's my favorite pick that they had in this draft by a lot. That dude is massive. He's a foot taller than me, Doug. That dude is literally a foot taller than me and 170 pounds heavier, or whatever he is. He's a whole person, right? Taller than me and weighs more. Absolute beast. And that's going to be somebody that puts people on the ground in the most physical division in the NFL by far. But again, I have them going 7-10. And I do think an underrated pickup for them was Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think that's a guy that could develop behind Deshaun Watson and be a high-end level 2, a guy that can step in if somebody gets hurt and plays a few games. But again, I don't trust their coaching as much as some the other teams in their division, so I have them going 7-10.
Okay, love it. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens, man. Be more, man. What's up, Baltimore Raven fans? Also, as well, folks, hit that subscribe button, folks. That really helps the channel take and grow. And when you help the channel grow, man, you help build the community, man. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens, y'all. They got OBJ. I mean, you mentioned something, Mike, not too long ago that they have a receiver room now. They got Zay Flowers. Now, a lot of people didn't like the receiver they got last year. They felt he was a little too slow, but he still has a great jump ball. And I feel like he's a complimentary player. He's not a true wide receiver 1. Well, they got OBJ, who is a wide receiver 1, even at an older age, at least a wide receiver 2. But then you got Zay Flowers, man, potentially the best deep threat in this year's draft. Then Trenton Simpson. Dude, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson easily should have took and been a first-round pick. I gave him the 10 wins, man, because this is just a scrappy division. And then when you get outside the division, dude, it gets bonkers, man. Like AFC East, crazy. AFC West, don't get twisted. They're making moves. They have the hungry AFC South, right? So the AFC is just crazy. I got Baltimore coming in at 10 wins, but potentially could win this thing as well, too. Potentially could even, I'll even say that I think they probably get a win on the Bengals this year. Why did you give I think you gave them 12 wins, right? The Ravens?
Yeah, I gave them 12 wins. I think they're going to split with the Bengals. I think they'll go 1-1 against them. Zay Flowers, I like that pick a lot. And honestly, my favorite pick was a pick that won't even probably play this year, Andrew Voorhees in the 7th round. He tore his ACL at the combine, I believe, or chest. He did something at the combine, hurt himself, but still threw up like 37 reps on the bench. He got hurt himself, did a bunch of reps still. That's the dude, a guard at USC that will step in next year, and I guarantee in 24-25 season he will be a starter. That was my favorite pick, again, a future pick. But saying all that to say, adding OBJ, I think if OBJ – now here's the thing, right? OBJ's knee is falling off the bone like ham hocks on a crock pot on a right? So that is the thing that worries me. But adding Zay Flowers to that room, having OBJ who showed last time he played, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been the Super Bowl MVP in my opinion. They would have been on track to win that game. But if they can manage his health, I don't think he'll play a full season. But I think that'll be intentional so they can manage his health going into the playoffs. If he's healthy going into the playoffs, this new offense they're supposed to have, they're still going to be running the ball. They got J.K. Dobbins, etc. But saying that to say Lamar Jackson is a very, very underrated passer because of how dangerous his legs are. And I think he's going to get to show that off this year with the receiver room he has. So, again, I have them going 12-5. They're going to have a stout defense, obviously, because they always do. But, again, I think they'll take second place in that division. There will be a division there'll be a wild card team that nobody wants to play. That's going to be the team that if you just snuck in the playoffs, you play them and you're going to be like, what the hell did I do to have to play this team? And, I think they're going to make some noise this year.
Yeah, love it. I love it. And then moving on to the last team of the night, the Cincinnati Bengals, man. And guys, comment below. Let us know your thoughts, man. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And also, as always, hit that subscribe button, man. We appreciate y'all. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, man. This is a team that has, before it was the O-line, remember? They were saying, the O-line, man. And Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl being the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. Crazy. I don't think I've seen that before. That's nuts. That's the type of talent this man possesses. Easily the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. And he's pushing for number one, right? Then they fixed the O-line in free agency. You know, they got that old lineman, man, and from I want to say it was Dallas, I believe it was, man. And then they beefed up their secondary. Let's just talk about the secondary just real quick before we talk, because their draft, I have to give it a solid A, man. But just the secondary, DJ Turner out of Michigan, who's the fastest cornerback in this whole draft. But you watch the play, and the play backs it up. Jordan Battle, very talented safety. I wouldn't say he's like super elite, but man, this guy, he's better than what they have now. Then go all the way down to DJ Ivory. Shout out to the U. Mike, you and I both love the University of Miami. DJ Ivory didn't have the best Reese Senior Bowl, but you watch the tape, and the tape backs it up, man. He shows up clutch time after time again. And this is somebody who's going to really levitate that defense. Then, of course, you just kind of look at all the other players that they got, man. Chase Brown, running back, Illinois. Ugh, beast. Then you got Miles Murphy, round pick 28. Round 1, pick 28, Miles Murray, edge rusher, Clemson. I love it. And then let's look at the difficulty of schedule. It's kind of middle of the pack, 17. So yeah, man, I got them winning this division, 12 wins. You had 13 wins, Mike. Why is that?
I had them winning 13 games in because the things that they did in free agency added into their line. The areas that you could say were quote unquote weakness for them, they got stronger again. DJ Turner, that secondary. They have, in my opinion, the best wide receiver room. They have 3 number 1 receivers. You got T Higgins, my bad, on that team that they got to re-up this year. Dude is an absolute monster, right? They got Jamar Chase, who LSU was throwing receivers out like nobody's business, right? I think he's an absolute beast. And then, so that again, the receiver room was great. Joe Mixon had his little bit of issues in the offseason. We're going to see if he gets that suspension, whatever they're talking about later on. But adding Chase Brown handicaps against that. So if he does get suspended, that's a guy 5'9", 210, very quick, a very shifty guy. His brother was a safety as well. They got drafted this year, so shout out to those fellas. I think he's a guy that can step in and help out that game right away. And then their secondary was a weakness, and you hit on that, brother. They attacked that DJ Ivory. Jordan Battle, I think, is like a Kareem Jackson type safety, right? He's not a guy that you want to just leave in coverage necessarily, like he's Javon Holland or something like that, but he is a guy that will step up and crack people, let you know he's there, and he'll control that middle of the field. And DJ Turner run that 4.27, I think rolls him up the board a little bit. So I did like their draft a lot. I think they're absolute dogs. And again, I have them winning that division and potentially winning the Super Bowl. This is my Super Bowl pick this year. I think they're going to knock the Chiefs off, so I definitely have faith in that team. And they have my favorite quarterback in the NFL, Joe, the swag guy, Burrow. So I trust him a lot. I think this is the year they'll take the next step and kind of make some noise.
Yeah, buddy. I love it, man. Now they're excited. And also shout out to Andre Yosivas. He was the 6th round pick receiver out of Princeton. Princeton ain't known necessarily for cranking out NFL players, man. This guy is a track star, and he has the big bag on him is that he doesn't have he only has vertical speed, but there's tape out there and on the field evidence of him having that horizontal speed, right? So jump ball, crazy, big, physical, nasty, violent receiver, man. I'm excited. He's a complementary piece to this receiver core that's already kind of established, but I love what he's going to bring, that attitude, man. And he is the guy. I call him very balanced because he has a chip on each shoulder, man. I know the guy personally, and he's dope. I'm super excited for him. And you know what? We got one last team we're going to talk about here today, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers, man. No, I have this team, man, that one of the best, absolutely one of the best defenses in the whole entire league. Their O-line got better with Broderick Jones, offensive tackle out of Georgia, who easily could have been a top 10 pick, slid down to 14. Joey Porter Jr., how dope is it that your dad is your coach? Your dad is your coach. That's so dope. Keanu Benton, who is a wiry D tackle, his hands are so good. Watch the tape on Keanu Benton, man. That is a guy who I feel like he probably should have been round 3, but I'm not mad at them getting in for pick number 2. Darnell Washington, there's some question marks about him, potentially could be the best tight end in this whole year's draft. But we'll see. Nick Herbig, edge rusher out of Wisconsin. I mean, this is, look, Spencer Anderson, O-tackle, Maryland, Corey Trice, Purdue. Guys, this draft is just screaming dominance, man. I feel like this is really a year for the quarterback to make the big leap, man. So I don't have them making the playoffs, but easily they could be the team that loses out with 10 wins. But I think it's a year that's very, very big for Kenny Pickett. What do you think, Mike, on the Steelers?
Man, I absolutely love their draft. I think they had the best draft in their division. Broderick Jones was the best tackle in this draft, arguably, right? Joey Porter Jr. should have been drafted in the first round. Slid. I mean, in any other year, the 32nd pick is the last pick in the first round, but because of, some stuff that happened, obviously there was a pick that was missing. So he slid. He slid. Hey, I wasn't trying to push a sore button, but Joey Porter slid there. Joey Porter Jr. is an absolute beast. That's a guy that coming physical, has to work a little bit on his zone coverage, but they don't run a lot of that. They run a lot of man coverage, so he'll step in. The pick that pissed me off the most, Doug, is Keanu Benton. And the reason why that pissed me off is because I wanted my team to draft him. That's the guy the Broncos needed to draft, and they got him and Darnell Washington at 6'7", 265 at tight end. This dude was the second best tight end on their team. Think about this. And arguably the best tight end in the draft. That's how dominant that Georgia team was. They had Bowers, who was like a sophomore this year, and both these guys had damn near 1,000 yards, right? So their tight end room was absolutely insane. He's the guy, if those health issues check out, I think it might have been back or knee or something, I forgot what it was, but if those health issues check out, which I trust the Steelers, they had confidence in it, or they wouldn't have pulled the trigger on that draft. And then Kenny Pickett, like, they did what they needed to do to get Kenny Pickett to where he needs to be, in my mind, right? That running back room is going to be absolutely insane. Going to be a physical running team. So, again, I like what they're going to do. I think they're going to be 9-8. They're going to be pushing that wild card spot. But if they stay healthy, that's a team that could easily win 10 to 11 games and make some noise in the division.
Ooh-wee. I love it. I love it, man. It's going to be exciting, man. The AFC North, outside the AFC East, is probably my second favorite division in all of football, man. This is exciting, man. They're all good teams. All of these teams could potentially make it to the playoffs. Every single one could take and make it to the playoffs this year, man. So, that we're going to have, again, Mike, and let's bookmark this episode. It's the episode where I say there'll be two teams that win 10 games and miss the playoffs this year, man. I think it's going to be that heartbreaking. Thanks for watching another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith, where I cover all 32 NFL teams plus NFL exclusive interviews. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for the alerts, comment below, and we'll catch you next time on the Touchdown with Doug Smith.